Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right, because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. I did.
We made love.
Who you made love with?
Diddy, Bow Wow, Busta Rhymes.
You just told me you seen Busta in the airport too. That motherfucker tried to act like he didn't know you. You smashed Drake?
There's something really unsettling about the world of fame when you stop looking at it with starstruck eyes. On the surface, celebrity life is all diamonds, jets, champagne, and red carpets. But scratch the surface, even just a little, and you start hearing the same stories over and over again. Stories about power, manipulation, blackmail, and celebrities who lose far more than they ever bargained for. And one name that keeps popping up in these stories is Katt Williams. Katt's not like most people in Hollywood. He doesn't bite his tongue, doesn't play nice to stay on the A-list, and doesn't care if people call him crazy. He's been in this game long enough to know how it works, and he's been loud about the things he's seen. According to Katt, he's turned down $50 million 4 times, not because he didn't want the money, but because the price was too high. And he's not talking about creative control or bad contracts. He's talking about his integrity. Katt has openly described the pressure to show up at Diddy's infamous parties, to rub shoulders with the right people, and to cross lines that can't be uncrossed. He jokes about protecting his virgin hole, but behind the joke is a serious warning. Once you give up certain boundaries, you lose more than you realize. And Katt's not the only one sending up these flares. Take YK Osiris, for example. A few years ago, he was one of the fastest rising young stars in R&B. Viral hits, high-profile friendships, luxury cars, and a flashy social media presence. But if you look closely, his story is full of contradictions. In 2021, he went on a trip to Jamaica and flooded his Instagram with shirtless photos, sensual captions about eating fruit, and a luxury lifestyle that didn't make sense for someone who had just sold his Lamborghini, his Rolls-Royce, and his Cadillacs because of financial problems. Suddenly, the rumors started flying that Osiris had become Diddy's boy toy after that trip, trading companionship for access.
You know what these rappers, all these singers, all these big rappers y'all look up to? They always tell you what the good part about, but they never tell you what the bad part. And that's crazy, man. Yeah, they got all this money, but they dealing with emo spirits. They dealing with, man, come on, man.
And things got even messier when his baby mama publicly claimed she'd left him after catching him in bed with another man. When Osiris showed up on the Breakfast Club and got grilled about the rumors, he turned bright red, laughed nervously, and dodged the questions. But his silence spoke volumes. After that, it was like watching a slow-motion collapse. Osiris started breaking down on social media, ranting about his mental health, about seeing spirits, about feeling like the music industry wasn't aligned with what God wanted for him. This wasn't just a kid cracking under normal pressure. It felt like someone who had gotten in too deep, someone who'd crossed lines they weren't ready for and couldn't find their way back. And it's not just the young or the struggling who get tangled up. Even global superstars like Burnaboy have been pulled into Diddy's orbit. In 2020, Diddy executive produced Burna's album Twice as Tall, and on paper, it looked like a dream collaboration. African and African-American artists coming together to make something powerful. But when Diddy's scandals and allegations started bubbling to the surface, fans began looking back at that partnership with fresh eyes. A photo circulated online showing Diddy and Burna in what some called an intimate pose, though it was never clear if the image was real or doctored. Still, the whispers began. Was there more to this collaboration than just music? Did Burna get pulled into compromises he didn't fully see coming? And then there's Meek Mill. Unlike 50 Cent, who has made it clear he wants nothing to do with Diddy's weird vibes and has publicly mocked him, Meek seems to have embraced the relationship fully.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Suddenly, they were everywhere together, partying, shopping, wearing matching outfits. 50 Cent even posted online, clowning Meek for dressing like Diddy and questioning what he was really getting out of the relationship. But things took a much darker turn when a bodyguard allegedly leaked an audio clip of Diddy and Meek caught mid-sex act at one of Diddy's infamous freak-off parties. According to insiders, these parties aren't just wild. They're designed to get people so drunk or high, they can't resist, can't remember, and can't escape. If the audio leak was real, it suggests Meek wasn't just partying. He was caught in something much bigger and much more dangerous. Actor Terrence Howard has his own warnings about the entertainment industry. He's talked openly about how some men permanently damage their sense of manhood when they give up their boundaries or endure degrading experiences for the sake of success. He calls it giving up your man card. And he says once it's gone, you can't ever get it back. His words echo Katt's, that in this industry, the cost of fame isn't just money or privacy, it's your soul. And when you look at people like Orlando Brown, you start to see just how deep this damage can go. Orlando Brown has been dismissed as crazy for years, but when you listen carefully, a pattern starts to emerge. He's repeatedly ranted about dark, abusive practices in celebrity circles, naming artists like Busta Rhymes, Bow Wow, Usher, and Drake. Singer Jaguar Wright has said Orlando only acts unstable because he's been deeply traumatized and is trying to protect himself. Orlando has even hinted that Diddy forced him into sexual situations with other stars. And while it's easy to write Orlando off as unhinged, the overlap between his claims and those made by other artists is hard to ignore. Brisher Gray, the actor best known for playing Hakeem on Empire, also has a story that raises eyebrows. After the Jussie Smollett scandal, Brisher's career tanked. But behind the scenes, rumors circulated that he'd once fled a party at Will Smith's house, screaming, with Meek Mill at his side. After Empire, Brisher's life spiraled. Arrests, public meltdowns, even a SWAT standoff. Now he's reportedly preparing a $50 million lawsuit against Diddy and Will Smith for abuse and exploitation. Think about that. A young actor with his whole career ahead of him, brought to his knees, not by failure, but by something far darker. But if you thought that was the end of the list, you haven't heard about Joseph Manzero. And trust me, his story takes this entire conversation into even darker territory. Unlike the other names we've mentioned, Manzero isn't a rapper, an actor, or a singer. He's just a regular guy who says he got caught up in the celebrity machine by accident. And what he describes sounds like something straight out of a nightmare. According to Manzero's civil lawsuit, he was lured to one of Diddy's private parties, dragged through a secret tunnel that supposedly connects to Gloria Estefan's property, and forced to wear humiliating outfits in front of a star-studded crowd that allegedly included Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and LeBron James. Now, at first glance, this might sound like internet gossip or wild fan fiction, but here's the kicker. These aren't just wild claims floating around Twitter or Reddit. These are sworn legal allegations, backed by court paperwork, with Diddy's legal team actively trying and failing to stall the case. This isn't just rumor anymore. This is real. And the deeper you dig, the more you start seeing a pattern that's hard to ignore. Across all these stories, whether it's Katt Williams, YK Osiris, Meek Mill, Brisher Gray, Orlando Brown, or Joseph Manzero, there's one word that keeps surfacing: blackmail. The theory goes that Diddy, and likely others at his level, have built their power not just on talent or business savvy, but on control. And how do you control someone in Hollywood? You get dirt on them. You put them in situations they can't admit to publicly, record it, and then hold it over their heads forever. That's why Katt Williams' warnings hit so hard. He's not just talking about money or contracts, he's talking about spiritual warfare, about a system designed to trap people in their own secrets. Once you're compromised, you're not just an artist anymore, you're a puppet. What's wild is how many artists allegedly tried to resist but ended up paying the price. Pimp C, 50 Cent, Terrence Howard, all of them reportedly kept their distance or spoke out at some point, and all of them faced blackballing, ridicule, or public attacks. Meanwhile, countless others have stayed silent, not because they're okay with what's happening, but because they're terrified. Terrified that if they speak up, their careers will evaporate overnight. Their families will be dragged through the mud, or their darkest secrets will get splashed across every headline and gossip site. That's the real game. The one fans don't see, the one that happens in the shadows, behind the closed doors of private mansions and exclusive after-parties. But here's the thing. As more lawsuits pile up, as more voices come forward, and as more insiders start whispering, the cracks in the system are getting harder to cover up. Commentators and fans alike are now wondering, just how far does this web of manipulation and exploitation really reach? How many big names are involved, either as victims or as enablers? And if Diddy's empire starts to crumble under the weight of all these allegations, will we see other powerful figures exposed too? Because let's be honest, if the rumors are even half true, Diddy isn't the only one playing this game. He's just the one caught in the spotlight right now. And the collateral damage is already massive. Careers shattered, reputations ruined, young artists chewed up and spit out by a machine that never cared about them in the first place. Fans are left wondering, how many stars have quietly walked away, broken and disillusioned, after realizing the price of staying at the top? How many have been silenced by NDAs, hush money, or threats? How many are sitting in their mansions right now, staring at the walls, wondering if the secrets they buried years ago are about to come crawling back into the light? It's a lot to take in, and honestly, it's heartbreaking, because behind every headline, every viral tweet, every leaked audio clip, there are real people. People who once had dreams, who once believed in their own talent, who once thought they could rise to the top without losing themselves along the way. And now, we're left watching from the sidelines as the walls start to crack, wondering who will speak up next and how far the fallout will go. Maybe that's why Katt Williams' voice feels so important right now. He's one of the few people in the industry willing to stand in front of a camera, name names, and tell the truth as he sees it, no matter how messy, no matter how ugly, no matter how dangerous. And whether you agree with everything Katt says or not, you can't deny that his warnings ring louder today than ever before. He's not just talking about scandal, he's talking about survival, about how, in a world built on power and control, the only way to win might be to walk away entirely. So as the lawsuits continue, as the headlines keep coming, and as more celebrities start dropping cryptic hints or vague confessions, the big question hanging over all of this is simple. How long can the industry keep its secrets? And when the dam finally breaks, because let's be real, it always does, how many careers, reputations, and lives will be swept away in the flood? Because at the end of the day, fame might look glamorous from the outside, but behind the scenes, it's a game with brutal rules. And as more stars come forward, as more stories emerge, it's becoming clearer than ever that in the world of celebrity, the biggest danger isn't just losing your money or your reputation, it's losing yourself. Anyway, if you enjoyed this breakdown, then make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one.